term to explain what's going on to you. I want to coin a term. I'm going to call it military nihilism. Okay? What's going on is military nihilism. Why? Because the entire infrastructure upon which our entire civilization is built in the USA, all of our lifestyles, our habits, our culture, everything that tunes us in any kind of way to the culture and civilization that we live in 2026 in the USA is built atop a firm foundation of military systems, systemic control that was implemented by the U.S. military sometime in the post-war period. You know, if you watch Twin Peaks, David Lynch, he kind of gets into this a little bit with the whole Project Blue Beam or whatever, Blue Book, whatever the fuck it's called. But everything that you see in our society, ranging from the internet to social media to mass media, everything is governed by a system that was created and built by the military almost a century ago, right? And we're starting to see the superstructure upon which, you know, the system served as a foundation. We're starting to see that collapse in a lot of ways. We're starting to witness people no longer having any beliefs or principles or morals in anything whatsoever. I'm noticing this is first happening among the right. Of course, it's going to happen to leftists as well. But the first thing that's happening is that nobody fucking believes in anything anymore. What people believe in now is pure military force. How many right-wingers thought it was justified what the U.S. is doing in Iran? Like, you know what a good example of this military nihilist brain rot is? Asmongold. When Asmongold saw the U.S. invasion of Iran or Venezuela, whatever, his whole reasoning was, well, we can do it. We can, you know? It's this blind veneration of the fact that it's force for force's own sake. It's power for power's own sake. It's the system itself is becoming something that people have come to recognize as like this AI that is deserving its own respect, its own values. It doesn't actually have any content. There's no ideology. There's no belief. Nobody believes in the American way. Nobody believes that America represents justice in the world. But there's a profound veneration and worship of the underlying kind of machine-like system atop which our so-called civilization has been built, which is the U.S. military. I myself, if you watch some of my earlier streams in 2025, I myself have been talking about how, in the same way that Lenin admired Fordism and Taylorism and these capitalistic systems of control, there's something to be learned from the U.S. military in terms of adopting and appropriating and taking their extremely sophisticated methods of control and organization and hierarchy and command. It's like the U.S. military is the only thing that works in the USA. It's the only actual thing that like functions. Now, of course, it functions for really disgusting purposes. It functions for evil, of course, but that's all the U.S. is. The only thing that glues together America right now, the United States of America, is the military. There's nothing else. And it kind of touches upon what Fred Jameson talked about with the Universal Army or whatever, right? And I'm going to reference that. If you get it, you get it. But the U.S. military is the culmination of the whole history of private property that Marx talks about in the Communist Manifesto, you know, through slave society, through feudalism, through the final culmination of that is the U.S. military, right? And all of the veneer of American ideology is breaking apart at the seams. And now we're living in a country where the only thing people believe in, is the machine itself. I'm gonna go ahead and drop a fucking explosive nuke on you right now. Even this frantic hubbub, what else can we call it, about AI and artificial intelligence, that itself is just a copy. That's just a mirror, a reflection of the artificial intelligence that is the U.S. military. It's a hive mind. It's an impersonal system with its own intelligence. It's not even like that there's someone in command of this shit who like has it all locked down or whatever. It's become a machine of its own that works autonomously, and it's this self-reinforcing principle, right? And this is all society believes in anymore, right? This is the only thing. There's no ideology, there's no principle, there's no content. It's just this worship of pure force and the ability to kill, the ability to exterminate, and the ability to translate your will, whatever that so happens to be, into the absolute and utter, full spectrum domination that the U.S. military aspires toward, right? So I'm calling this military nihilism, and I'm going to go ahead and say that this has become the dominant ideology that's been guiding American public consciousness, and it is shaping within discourse. And this is the profoundly ironic part. Yes, what's going on X and social media is bots, it's astroturfed, it's completely fake, it doesn't actually reflect spontaneous organic consciousness, but that doesn't matter because the spectators who are on it and are witnessing the way social media is being rigged in the direction of reinforcing forms of discourse that ultimately subordinate the population to the system of control, like even in the sense of where ideology used to be, there's now this ideology of just pure military nihilism. Well, what's going on is that even if that itself is a consequence of like some AI that doesn't even like reflect people's genuine beliefs or whatever, the fact that it dominates our consciousness, the fact that we perceive everyone else to be thinking this way and going in this direction, celebrating Maduro's capture, the invasion of another country, the violation of another country's right to self-determination, the prospect of the U.S. attacking Cuba, the U.S.'s war against Iran, all these people that are so excited and so happy about it, all the people that are now celebrating the potential arrest and persecution of Hassan Piker, people who are calling for the use of violence and armed force to destroy their political opponents. I'm talking about the state to do it, right? These are all reflections of the fact that the pretense of morality, of principle, of ideology, of all these things has totally dropped. And people are becoming autonomous kind of Autobots, whatever you want to call them, for the U.S. military, which is the only form of comprehensive systemic control that exists effectively and functionally. Religion is not a comprehensive, effective system of control. Ideology is not a comprehensive, effective system of control. Politics cannot actually establish a comprehensive and effective system of control. And even capitalism fails to be an effective and comprehensive system of control. Why? Because capitalism fails. Capitalism is ridden with contradictions that make it, in a sense, impossible in the long term, which is why the capitalist mode of production, for the longest time, has depended upon the military-industrial complex to expand its lifespan beyond its natural age from the perspective of history. So the only effective, comprehensive, total system of control that exists and works is the U.S. military. Fred Jameson, the late Fred Jameson, may he rest in peace, made the extremely provocative suggestion in one of his books. This is the book I was alluding to, by the way. He had this idea, Red Monkey, what's up? He had this idea that American socialism was going to be built out of the shell of the U.S. military. Now, he didn't sincerely and earnestly believe that, but his book was made to be this kind of artistic provocation of get our wheels turning as far as thinking about what socialism could look like in America beyond just free shit and free healthcare, right? So Fred Jameson had this idea that the U.S. military actually is this vessel for the realization of a socialist mode of production, that you just have to turn it from a killing machine and turn all of its kind of like chain of command, its logistics, its supply chain. You just had to kind of convert that into something that would be for domestic civilian organization and coordination of everyday life in a planned and rational way. And there you go. Now, of course, it's absurd on the face of it. Nobody genuinely takes that seriously. But he floated the idea just to kind of get people's cogs turning and expanding our imagination, or what he called our cognitive mapping of the world that we live in right now, right? So that was Fred Jameson's idea. And why am I mentioning Fred Jameson? Well, because whether we want to acknowledge it or not, the mode of production that we live in right now is fundamentally rooted in the U.S. military. It's not rooted in the capitalism described by Marx in the 19th century. It's rooted in the military and the military-industrial complex. Everyone should understand that the U.S. dollar doesn't derive its value from some kind of underlying, like, intrinsic commodity like gold or something, some substantial store of value that reflects any kind of objective laws of political economy. the US dollar is maintained by the US military. And it's not just the US military, but the system of control established by the US military that is worldwide in scale. The US turned the entire globe into a system of control. Governments that fell out of line, even to this day, which continue to fall out of line with the post-war Bretton Woods planners, the people who kind of took the New Deal and converted it into this kind of comprehensive global system of economic planning and control, right? All the governments and states and political actors who are disaligned with that system of control are eradicated, they're attacked, they're replaced in coups, and all manner of force is employed and all manner of engineering is employed to align the entire globe with the system. When we talk about the system, I'm not just talking about some shit some hippie would be talking about. It's a system in the profoundly cybernetic sense of the word. It's a system. Milo, what's up? It's an autonomously self-reinforcing system that has an economic basis and foundation in the Bretton Woods model of developmentalism, right? That placed the US dollar as the foremost global reserve currency. That didn't exactly happened until the 1970s, of course, but Bretton Woods laid the foundation for it. And it was this developmentalist model where more or less the United States will bankroll the development of a select few countries to effectively act as a kind of industrial hinterlands to facilitate the ability to kind of securitize entire national economies in order to collateralize them, to inject credit in the U.S. economy to build up our economy, right? So the whole idea was the collateralization of entire national economies. They themselves become things people speculate in, just like you'd speculate in a stock market or, speculate in a joint stock company or something, or, a form of venture capital. And it's the global system of recycling that was described by Michael Hudson, but what a lot of people don't understand, and I don't know if this is exactly outlined comprehensively in Michael Hudson's Super Imperialism, where does the actual capital come from that fuels the growth of the global economy when it comes to things like innovation and the innovation and sophistication of industrial techniques, the expansion of technology in ways that are profitable, that actually can continue injecting life and as a countervailing tendency to the falling rate of profit, and the kind of engine of the Kondratiev cycles that are described by the Soviet economist. I think his name was Kondratiev, that's how you pronounce it, where basically it's this boom and bust cycle that corresponds to new eras of technology, right? Beginning with the steam engine through Fordism, et cetera, et cetera. Like, what is actually the engine, the core that fuels global economic growth? The reason why the crisis of capitalism described by Marx in Capital has never come to a head in a way that has collapsed societies. Easy, what's up? Like, what is the thing that has maintained the ability for the capitalist mode of production on a global scale to continue? It's the fucking U.S. military. The U.S. military is the foundation. It's the core. That's the engine of everything. All of the fucking R&D that goes in to the consumer civilian economy eventually, the latest and greatest thing, all of it originates from the military. Every fucking speculative bubble you can think of in the last 30 to 40 to 50 years, all of them were fueled by the U.S. military. The last time we had a speculative bubble, so to speak, that didn't come directly from the U.S. military was the era of Fordism. Henry Ford and his fucking car in his garage or whatever, right? But after that, with a shift to the cybernetic information age in the post-war period, all of that has been pioneered by the military, from flat screen TVs to touchscreen mobile devices. You fucking name it. Radio, mobile music, iPods, anything you can fucking think of. All of the things that become mass phenomena that we call technology, that's consumed at a mass scale, all of that is created by military R&D. A lot of people forget that fact. All of it is created by military R&D. And you want to know something else that people fucking forget? It's the fact that the current AI hype bubble, there's people that are laughing their ass off looking at the current AI hype bubble. Why? Because the foundations of what we call, artificial intelligence, language, learning models, and all that kind of stuff, that wasn't created by, the private sector, Silicon Valley geniuses like Elon Musk or whoever fuck else, Sam Altman. It was all created by military R&D. The only thing that was actually able to cohere and amass the otherwise anarchic, disparate division of labor and supply chains into something that's concentrated toward the intentional development of new technology and innovation, only something like the U.S. military could put that together, right? It's the U.S. military that put all this shit together. It's not the private sector. It's not Silicon Valley. It's not Sam Altman. It's not all these other fucking people. So the military has been the engine and the foundation of pretty much everything. It's not capitalism per se. It's the military. The military, the U.S. military in particular, is this shadow society. It's a parallel economy. It's a parallel system of rational economic planning that eventually serves as the foundation for economic speculative bubbles that you see in civilian life, right? Steve Jobs, did Steve Jobs invent the fucking iPhone and the technology that went into that? No, the fucking military did, right? So we have to really understand what's going on right now in terms of the collapse of morality, the collapse of any pretense to ideology. The U.S. is acting like a fucking mass shooter on the global stage now, openly. It's not even like pretending to justify itself with anything moral or anything ideological or on any basis of principle or anything like that. Meanwhile, the right wing, which used to be Ron Paul, which used to justify themselves on the basis of morality and Christianity and God and whatever, all this kind of fucking stuff, they have abandoned and they've given up. They're like, okay, the Jews rule us, Israel rules us, Netanyahu rules us, we're totally cucked, there's nothing we can fucking do, so we may as well just sit back and enjoy the show and enjoy it. We may as well find a way to enjoy it, right? So the so-called alt-right, which pretended to kind of base itself in a superior moral position, specifically at the level of religion, but even at the level of, we have to defend civilization, Western civilization. We have to defend. Why they're like white replacement is bad because Western civilization is morally superior. Western civilization is just so beautiful, and yet they've discarded any pretense to morality, to civilization, to all these fucking things that they used to justify themselves on the basis of, right? They are all in on just like a cuckold enjoys their wife getting fucked. They're enjoying the collapse of civilization as we know it and a regression into the pure machine-like nihilism of the U.S. military that is devoid of an ideology, right? That's what's going on right now. And the whole thing about Hassan Piker and all these people that are celebrating, shout out to people, again, I want to keep saying this, shout out to the people who identify or claim to be on the right, who rightfully understand what's going on with Hassan Piker and condemn it. They'll be like, well, I don't really like Hassan Piker, but I understand what this actually fucking is. Shout out to those people, by the way. You see, the difference between us and other leftists, we're the people on the left wing who will always, always have room for dialogue with people who currently identify with the right, who are principled, right? We will always appreciate and recognize the people who maintain their character, who maintain their morals, who maintain their humanity. And we will never get to a point where we'll buy into this fucking psyop of just attacking and wanting to kill and villainize and whatever people who happen to disagree with us ideologically and politically, but maintain their character, maintain their integrity and their honor when it comes to the common popular struggle against our regime, our rotten and fundamentally fucking evil regime, right? And I want to say something. All of those right-wing people who are condemning what's going on to Hassan Piker, many leftists should actually feel ashamed. Because do we have anything close to that level of conscience on our side? Do we have people who, for example, let's say Jake Shields, let's say, Ryan Dawson, all these kind of other people. Let's say they were being rounded up and attacked by the government. How many on our side would stick their necks out to defend them? Well, you know what? Let me fucking say something. We will always be the people who do that. Whoever it is, it's always going to be us. It's always going to include us. We're always going to be included in the ranks of people who take a principled stance, will defend Hassan Piker in the same way that we insisted on defending some of the innocent people who got caught up in Jan 6, some of the innocent people that got caught up in Biden's censorship crackdowns. You know, the little shit boy wonder kid, Nick Fuentes, was like, where was the left when it came to Biden's persecution of right-wingers? Hey, we were right fucking here, you little shit. We've been here this entire fucking time. We have been fucking consistent. We will always oppose the regime's attempts to infringe upon the constitutional rights of the population. Whether they're attacking Hassan Piker, whether they're attacking people that call themselves on the right, doesn't fucking matter to us. We recognize it for what it is, and it's all the same. And yes, we are not only on the left, we are the fucking left wing. Everything besides us are either Democrats or nihilists. We are the left wing. The DSA are not left wing. The NGOs are not left wing. Zoran Mamdani's not left wing. He's a fucking Democrat. We are the left wing. So we are the left wing. Doesn't even matter if there was only 10 of us, by the way. Or you're not relevant enough. We're not relevant enough, really? Really? We're not relevant enough? If we're not relevant enough, then the left wing is not relevant enough to even be talked about. Because if we're out of the picture, you cannot speak of an organized left wing. We are the only organized left wing. All of the other elements that are on the left are either meandering and individualistic confusion, or they're nihilists who have fucking given up and taken some kind of fucking black pill, or they are being cucked by the right-wing Democratic Party. The organized left wing, it's us. And maybe, you know what? I'll go ahead and say, I can include RBN in there. I can include him in there, you know, not just him individually, but whatever group he's rolling with. People like that for sure. But we are few and far between, I agree. We're few and far between. But you can't say DSA's on the left. You can't say the organizations that depend upon Democrat NGOs are on the left or represent the independent voice of the left wing. We represent the independent voice of the left wing. And let me go on record fucking saying something. As the real left wing, the actually independently organized left wing, we will always oppose the regime's attempts to wage war and assault the constitutional rights of U.S. citizens. And we don't care where those citizens fall on the fake, phony, made-up political spectrum of the bourgeoisie. We don't care if they were Democrats or Republicans. We don't care if they're fucking libtards. We don't care if they're fucking conservatives, right? All we care about is that people take a principled stance and understand we have one social contract in this country. To be clear, boy wonder little shit Nick Fuentes and all these other fucking subhuman scum, they're trying to make you forget something that's very important. I'm going to spell it out to you very simply. Because they're trying to make you fucking forget something very obvious, which at one point was very obvious to people with common sense. I don't give a fuck about how you feel. I don't give a fuck about your ideology. I don't give a fuck about your fucking streamer drama and who was mean to you or whatever. I don't give a fuck about your personal fucking sentiments and resentments, which people are now fucking projecting upon the fucking regime and U.S. military as somehow a vehicle to realize their fucking fantasies and revenge. We have one social contract in this country. One. We have one thing in this fucking country that on paper, and yes, what's on paper actually does fucking matter. We have one fucking thing that separates us from being slaves. One thing. And that's our Constitution. You don't have to love our Constitution. You don't have to worship our fucking Constitution. I don't think the Constitution can last forever. Nobody thinks that. But guess what? Right now, that's all we have. So the minute any dissident starts shilling for a fucking regime that we pay taxes to, that we all agree to follow the law under, when they start justifying any transgression this regime makes upon the strictly enumerated powers that are given to it by the U.S. Constitution, they are signing themselves and you up for slavery. That's the fucking point. Do we ideologically believe in the U.S. Constitution? No. But guess what? That's the thin line we have. That's the thin line we have right now. Why do we follow laws? Why does anyone follow laws? Because we're scared of pure force? Is that the kind of country and nation we want to be? A bunch of fucking cowards that are just scared of force? That are scared to be met? What happened to give me liberty or give me death? Right? The so-called ideology that's supposed to be at the foundation of this country, we're told the myths of the American revolutionaries who put their lives on the line fighting the British, many of whom died and were killed and shredded with bullets and went to an early grave because they believed in something bigger than just being a fucking cattle sheep who's scared of force alone. Right? As a nation, are we going to be a nation of people intimidated by the regime? Are we going to be a nation of people set in line because we're fucking scared of being shot and killed or tortured or jailed? Or is there any sense whatsoever in which there's some kind of common principle that we ourselves buy into, that we ourselves participate in, that we ourselves have a piece of? We follow the law because there's a social contract. Because there are enumerated, I know this is all formalism, and I know it's all on fucking paper, but that fucking piece of paper is the only thing, it's the only thing that anyone with dignity should recognize. Because the minute you get rid of that piece of paper, you're admitting to the fucking world you live as a slave. I can tell the world that I'm a U.S. citizen, that I live in America, that I follow its laws, that we have a constitution, and we have a government that claims to follow this constitution. Now, do I know for a fact that our government doesn't give a shit about the Constitution? Do I know for a fact that a lot of this is bullshit? Of course I know that. But when the government openly discards the Constitution, when it openly says that the enumerated powers vested in it no longer matter, and it goes beyond these enumerated articles and decides that it's going to wield power as it sees fit, it is telling us we live under an open dictatorship. And at that point, when you fall in line to an open dictatorship, you are a fucking cook. You're a slave. You're falling in line purely because you're afraid and you're scared. You're no longer a citizen of a republic. You're a fucking slave who's afraid to be whipped and beaten, so you fucking do what you're told. So yeah, the bourgeois social contract actually does fucking matter. The bourgeois social contract is the only fucking thing that we can have to justify being a United States. So whoever participates in the United States and simultaneously makes excuses for a regime and for a government that steps out of line in terms of the very laws that it claims to base itself upon, anyone who fucking does that, I don't care if they call themselves leftists, and I don't care if they identify with the right. The minute someone fucking does that, they're fucking signing all of us up for slavery. They're enemies of the people. We have to root them out. We have to shame them. We have to somehow socially punish them for betraying us. They're eunuchs. They're shills. They're traitors. We have to proverbially, metaphorically, tar and fucking feather them. I'm an individual, you're an individual. Everybody has an opinion and an asshole. I can disagree with you, you can disagree with me. But what I will not fucking tolerate is living under an arbitrary, unenumerated, lawless Zionist dictatorship that can do whatever the fuck it wants to any of us based on the whims and fancies of a fucking pedophile cabal. You don't have to be a Marxist. You don't have to read Karl Marx. You don't have to read Lenin. You don't have to read Mao Zedong to understand that. Does that mean you have to defend Hassan Piker? Yes, it fucking does. Yes, it fucking does. You think you're a fucking tough guy because you're sitting on the sidelines cheerleading a fucking regime, taking out people you just disagree with subjectively, you fucking retard? Everybody has their own opinions. You are a fucking cuck. You're enabling the regime to become a fucking lawless dictatorship that can bust into your fucking house and rape you and get away with it. Where's your power? Where's my power? Where's anyone's power? Our only power lies. Our only power lies in whatever common fucking principle or contract we agree keeps us together as one order and one nation. That's the only fucking power anyone has, that they have a right. The minute you remove that, who's in charge? Who's in charge? You fucking anime nihilist pieces of shit eating your chicken nuggies and chalky milk. You think you're fucking in charge? Asmongold, you fucking subhuman fucking retard, playing your fucking video games with your thumbs. You think you're fucking in charge? You're nothing. Nobody's anything. The only fucking people who will rule are the ones who are part of the fucking pedophile Epstein cabal. They're the only fucking ones whose interests are going to be fulfilled by this fucking dictatorship. There's not a single one of the people. There's not a single one of these people outside of that clique. Doesn't matter how much of a fucking eunuch and shill you are, cutting your fucking balls off like a cuck for them. Oh, I'm so glad Hassan's getting persecuted because of my fucking personal petty fucking issue with him. Oh, this is my sweet revenge. I'm so happy. Who the fuck are you? You're not going to be the beneficiary of this coming dictatorship. You're going to be a cuck. You're going to be a cheerleader for it. And even then, it's going to see fit to discard you however it fucking wants to. I mean, you're getting to a point where this is going to be a worse, more twisted and demonic version of feudalism. These fucking oligarchs are going to have the right. They're going to have the right to fucking point at you, say, I want you as my pet. You're going to be my slave. You're going to be my fucking butler. I'm going to torture you for fun. What are you going to do? If some Silicon Valley fucking oligarch, some weird twisted fuck like Peter Thiel, imagine one day you get a knock on your fucking door. You've been chosen to be a personal pet to be tortured and killed for the amusement of this fucking billionaire oligarch. What are you going to fucking do? What are you going to say? I have rights. We have a constitution. Well, the minute you throw that away, the people who already have the most money and influence are going to be able to do whatever the fuck they want. And how are you going to save your fucking ass? How are you going to enforce your rights? You understand how fucked up and dangerous it is that people are cheering on what's going on? Chris, what's up? You understand how fucked up that is? Without laws, even ones on paper, what defense do you have? If the elite, what defense does anyone have? At the end of the day, it's a dark ages. There will be no more United States. Maybe that has to happen. Maybe it does. But I'm not going to be a cuckold who cheerleads my fucking regime to do whatever the fuck it wants. Like these people are doing. You're empowering it with vast, wide powers. You're setting a precedent, giving it the fucking ability to do anything it fucking wants. You think because if you're going to kiss enough ass, you're going to be completely what? Safe? You think so? You're going to be an ass kisser and hope that it doesn't fucking come after you? Really? You don't think there's powerful, sick fucking people that want to turn Americans into their pets, into their slaves? that want to prey on people, that want to torture them sadistically. I could fucking find 5 anonymous retards on Twitter right now who are psychological fucked up sadists in their head who want to fucking strap people up and torture them and shit. You don't think those people exist among the billionaires and the rich who control this fucking government and this regime? You don't think those people exist? If you don't have rights anymore, if we don't have laws anymore, what's going to fucking stop them from doing that to innocent people? What's going to stop them? I mean, technically, they can get away with that now, I understand. But they're going to do it in broad daylight. You're not going to do a fucking thing about it. All why? Because you cheered on the government weaponizing arbitrary force and lawless force to persecute Hassan Piker. Why? Because you don't fucking like him? Because you resent him on some personal petty fucking level? Why should anyone give a shit about your resentments? Why should anyone give a fuck about the fact that you're resentful, that you harbor issues with Hassan fucking Piker? Why should anyone fucking care? What does that even mean in the face of what's coming? An open, lawless dictatorship of force. Of force. Will the American people roll over and let that fucking happen to them? Looks like it. You're going to find all sorts of ways. Oh, he's a commie. You're a commie. You're a commie. I'll tell you what's going to happen. Nick Fuentes is going to cheer on Hassan Piker getting persecuted. Then he's going to get persecuted because they're going to dig up when he praised Stalin one time or when he took a position that was critical of the U.S. government on Iran. And he's going to be called a commie himself. He will have deserved it. Every single person going forward who cheerleads regime persecution, we got to make a list of these fucking people so that we remember when the time comes that the regime persecutes them, we do nothing. We don't speak out for them. We let it happen. We have to all come together. I'm saying this right now. Now is the time that all anti-Zionists have to come together. I don't give a fuck what your ideology is. Everyone's got to now come together and take an oath, sign a pact, which says an injury to one is an injury to all. We're not going to let the Zionists turn us into an open lawless dictatorship. We're a secret lawless dictatorship. We're not going to let them turn us into an open lawless dictatorship where they can do whatever the fuck they want to U.S. citizens with impunity, without due process, arbitrarily weaponizing already unconstitutional federal agencies to round people up on the basis of political rivalries. Everyone needs to tap the fuck in. I'll be the first one to propose this. Hassan Piker should tap the fuck in. Principled people who call themselves right-wing should tap the fuck in. There's a lot of people on the left I already know are ready to tap the fuck in. Tucker will probably tap in. We need to form this pact to protect the American people from the lawless abuses of the U.S. regime, because more are coming. Why? Because the Zionists are now cornered. Because there's been a mass upheaval of mass consciousness that's awakened against them. And they're going after Piker because they're sending a message. We will simply use force to keep you in line. You don't want to go to jail? Then you better obey and submit. That's what these anti-communist pieces of shit are saying. Yeah, throw the commies in prison. Throw them in prison. They're commies, all right. Your message to the American people is, if you hold the wrong opinions, you're going to be locked up. So out of fear of not being locked up, you should avoid reading Karl Marx. You should avoid reading Lenin. You should avoid reading about communism and socialism and forming your own fucking judgment. Because if you come to the wrong conclusion, bad physical things are going to happen to you. So out of fear, you need to have a certain ideology, right? That's what they're teaching us. All of these fucking cuckolds are being taught that. They're clapping like fucking seals. And this is the future they're trying to take us into as a nation. Don't form your own opinions about things. If you have the wrong ideas, you need to be scared of having the wrong ideas. You need to be scared of the physical consequences, right? And honestly, You ask me what Piker's crimes are. I could list you 10 crimes. I could list you 10 crimes Hassan Piker committed. But for the layman, I'm a Stalinist. I'm a communist with a capital C. For the layman, what the fuck is his crime? Tell me what his crime was. Okay, agreeing with Twitch censorship. That was pretty bad. That was morally bad. I agree. But beyond that, what was his crime? Talking about free healthcare? Delivering aid to Cuba? Wanting Americans to have more things? To be better off? More education? More healthcare? Why the fuck is he so hated by the layman? You know, the common man. You've been taught to hate this guy because he's wealthy, he's rich, and he's a hypocrite or whatever. But what is his message? What the fuck is his message that makes you so fucking angry? Because he reminds you of what a cuckold you are. That's why you fucking hate him. He reminds you what a cuckold you are. You're in fucking debt. You pay taxes to a fucking government that doesn't give a shit about you, doesn't repair your infrastructure, doesn't in any way fucking take care of you when you get old, leaves you on the fucking street. You're in medical debt. You have student loan debt. Your life is shit because you have no fucking opportunity. And you're taking your rage out on this Turk who's proposing some policies that would alleviate a little bit of that. And you're taking all your anger out on him because he reminds you what a cuck you are. Because if you were to give Hassan Piker even 5%, 5% of you have a point. If you were to even give an inch to this Turk, you'd be like me. You're not ready to be like me. So instead what you do is you rage against him. If you were to concede to Piker, you would basically have admitted that all your life was a lie, that you've been a cuckold, that we need a revolution against this regime, that Stalin was right, he didn't go far enough, that we need full communism now. I know Stalin's whispering in your ear, but you're fucking scared of it. So you hear this Turk, who's a Democrat, remind you 1% of the fact what a cuckold you are, letting all this shit happen to you, and you take your anger out on him. What you should do is take your fucking anger out against the system. He reminds you of how humiliated you are. Just come to the light. Yes, you've been fucking cucked that badly. You've been humiliated that badly. You are getting ripped off and humiliated that fucking badly. And it is that fucking bad. So take the Stalin pill. Skip Hassan Piker. Be like me. Be fucking angry. He reminds you. You're angry at him because you're angry at the humiliation. He reminds you that you suffer. That's what it is. That's why you hate communists. Why the fuck else would you hate communists? You dirt broke fuck retard. Broke retards. Spewing how much they want to kill and string up communists. Why are you doing that? Because we remind you how fucking humiliated and cuckolded you are. A billionaire can come to your fucking house and take everything from you. There's nothing you can do. You're nothing. They rape your children. There's nothing you can do. You're a pissant. They spit on you. They step on you. And you take your anger out on the people who are holding up a mirror to your face and reminding you how much of a fucking weak, cowardly bitch you are for letting them get away with it. That's the goddamn rotten truth. That's why you hate me. That's why you hate Piker. Because we remind you that you're a fucking coward. Because if you were a man, you'd take up the red flag yourself. If you were a man, you'd channel the fucking rage of 1,000 Stalins. If you were a man, if you were a fucking man, you'd stand up for your children. You stand up for their future. You stand up for your neighbors. You stand up for your family. You wouldn't let them do this shit to you and take us for a fucking ride like this. Who the fuck agreed to drag us into a fucking war? Instead of being angry and getting out of your seat and going outside, like in Network, right? And saying, what the fuck is going on? Who the fuck gave you the right to weaponize our nation for a war none of us signed up for. You find ways to cope with your own humiliation, your degradation, and your cowardice by sharing those fucking gay Macarena edits and glorifying the U.S. military out of nihilism. Well, there's nothing I can do about it. There's this cool edit of the U.S. military. It's like, how that? You're a bitch. You're a eunuch. You're a cuckold. You're not even human. If you were a man, you wouldn't fucking let them fuck you like this, cuck you like this. Whose country is this? There's nothing. What do you mean there's nothing we can fucking do? This bitch ain't nothing but us. It's nothing but us. What do you think nations are made of? They're made of people with willpower. They're made of people who have a backbone. You sit the fuck down like the little bitch that you are, and you're going to see the outcomes that you see. But if you raise your voice, and if you stand the fuck up, this nation is whatever the fuck you want it to be. And there's no excuse. And by the way, there's never been an excuse. The military nihilism that is taking over our generation, it's a defeatism. It's people who have just given in because they see no way out. And meanwhile, every other fucking day, you see some retarded-ass post go viral about how the ACP is just a joke. The ACP is only 300 people. Next, they'll say it's 30 people. The way they make shit up. Even if we were only 300 Spartans, we are the ones who have a fucking backbone. We are the ones who are trying to fucking do something about it. Oh, that's not viable. Why the fuck isn't, bitch? You tap the fuck in. Everybody tap the fuck in. And how could they stop us? Tell me how they would fucking stop us. But I personally... What fucking excuse do you have? You're literally a Labubu slave right now. You have nothing. You have no future. You're in debt. What the fuck is your excuse? I have opinions. Oh, you want to have a fucking opinion? Everyone's got an opinion and an asshole. You think that gives you power, that you have an opinion? You are under the boot of this regime. You got to get out from under before you can start talking about having an opinion. The choice is freedom or slavery. In that matter, you have no choice. You have to choose between the two. There's no third option. What are you doing about your slavery? What are you doing about the humiliation of you and your ancestors and everyone that you fucking know? What are you doing about the fact that you are devoid of a future? Which you are. Where's your future? Tell me where it is. Tell me, please. You have this idea that's going to pan out. No, it fucking isn't. Okay, I promise you. Oh, I'm going to open up a taco shop on the beach. No, you're fucking not. It's not going to happen. I always dreamed to shut the fuck up. Nobody gives a shit. Your dreams mean nothing because they're devoid of meaningfulness. They're devoid of substance. They're devoid of any purpose. They're devoid of any moral significance. Tap the fuck in or be a slave for the rest of your life. Those are the options you have. Oh, ACP, they don't know how to shoot a gun. You know, I looked at that clip from the people, and I think it was the Colorado chapter, who were, for the first time in their lives, picking up a gun and shooting it. One of the guys had his sights down. Other people, I guess, were, I don't know. I had veterans look at it. They said the only problem was the guy with his sights down. The rest was not really that bad. Okay, so what? These are people who never fucking picked up a gun in their lives shooting for the first time. Tell me what the fucking problem is. Are we pretending to be Are we pretending to be like already at a point where everyone in our party is? No. You start from somewhere. You, meanwhile, are sitting on your ass, eating Cheetos with your Cheeto-stained fucking fingers, playing fucking video games. You're a pissant and you're nothing. Somebody who's starting out for the first time in their fucking life has already fucking made a statement to the world about how much bigger their fucking balls are than anything you'll be able to fucking carry until you fucking go out of this world, the fat, obese, useless piece of shit that you are at the current rate. ACP isn't. Really? What the fuck is wrong with the ACP? No, go ahead. Tell me. What the fuck is wrong with ACP? Go ahead. Get it out. What's wrong with the ACP? Finish your sentence, you fucking subhuman retard. You are a slave. You have no rights. You have nothing to stand on. You've never seen a war in your life. You tell me what is comical or unserious about the ACP. We're getting to a point where this regime is going to be able to do whatever the fuck it wants to anyone with impunity. You tell me what's ridiculous about the ACP trying to fight back against that. Trying to give us a new social contract. Trying to give us a social contract where people do have a right. They do have some dignity. They do have an ability to petition the central authority with the fact that they are human. At least, and even if we didn't believe in rights, at the very least we believe in a principle. At the very least we believe in a principle. You know the same principle?
0R_Vital
Orbital,
added 15 to the war chest. Was this specific instance of military nihilism in part from imitated by swarm warfare and Iran's mosquito fleet? All the military infrastructure arms useless in the face of inexpensive munitions.
Maybe. Thank you for the 15. I appreciate you. I don't know. Yeah, the dude is a former Marine. He just had his sights down. He shot it for the first 3 shots to see if it was all right for the others. People made a big fucking deal out of it. Who gives a fuck? Strail Stanley, what's up with the 5? The better question is, what the fuck are all these other people doing about anything? What are they fucking doing about anything? Who are they? What fucking leg do you have to stand on? You're not organized into anything. You don't have a vision for the future of this country. You don't have a clear understanding of what's going on. I saw a clip of Keith Woods. Keith Woods was in Rome begging billionaires for handouts. I shit you not. He was at a conference that was titled, "Make the pitch to a hypothetical billionaire about why you should be supported." So now you have the option. ACP, we build our shit from the ground up. Built this shit from the ground up like Payroll Giovanni said. We built this shit from the ground up. Or we're going to fucking go beg some billionaire to pat us on the fucking head and give us some support and whatever. Billionaires ain't supporting you. You're going to be a little bitch for the billionaire. That's how it works, by the way. He's in Rome begging billionaires for money. All of Nick Fuentes' Boy Wonder, this little bitch kid, his entire fucking posture is rooted in this. We need to be sophisticated and we need to, I'll be Nick Fuentes. We need to be sophisticated and we need to be high IQ and high class so that eventually a billionaire is going to come along and give us a lot of money. And that way we're winning and we're defeating the Goyim. I'm such a Christian, even though Jesus washed the feet of, bums and people who had nothing. And Jesus, he said that the rich can't even pass. They have a worse time passing through heaven than a camel through the eye of a needle. We really need to be the Nietzschean Superman and just be really, well put together. So one day the billionaire class will accept us and we can do the bidding of the billionaire class and be legitimated and validated by them. You want to live your life being a little bitch for the rest of your life? Go fucking head. Be my guest. But will a single member of the American Communist Party ever go down the path of having to tell their fucking progeny, their children, their grandchildren, the descendants that come after them, will they read the story in the history book that their ancestor was a little bitch who could do nothing else but volunteer to be the fucking volunteer paid cuck and eunuch of some billionaire? No. The descendants of the American communists will read in the history books. These motherfuckers stood on some fucking business because they believed in something. They sacrificed everything for this belief. And they built everything they fucking had from nothing in service to it. I'm fucking crazy. How many times in history has this happened? Oh, you're crazy. You're yelling. Fuck you. Don't fucking gaslight me. We've all read the history books. We all know how this happens. Whoever's crazy enough to be about some real ass shit will strike a wealth and a gold that's worth more than all the fucking money in the world, all the fake printed money in the world. Oh, there's two sides. There's people like me who yell and are crazy and shit, right? But you want to know what the other side is? It's some smug, cuckold, metrosexual twang with a metrosexual accent who's like, oh, that's improbable. Kill yourself. Oh, that's improbable. I'm just a smug. I'm just a smug person. Oh, that's improbable. Oh, that's. Imagine living like that. Why are you alive? Why do you even breathe? How do you say that you're living? Where's the life part in your existence? Tell me. Where's the part in your life and your existence that has anything to do with life? Oh, I'm the smart. Why are you alive? Literally, why are you alive? Yep, you're probably suicidal, honestly. You probably are. If you have this smug mentality, honestly, these people are. You think these people are all right in here and they're happy and they have a fucking sense of vitality and vigor and life and liveliness like Haas does? How do I live versus how do they live? I live as a lion. These people wake up every fucking day wanting to jump off a cliff because they live without purpose. Oh, that's improbable. You are literally a limp-wristed bitch is what you are. Limp-wristed bitch that is devoid of any participation in the cosmos that makes you what you are. You breathe because of the beneficence of titanic forces, which your will never even come close to surmounting because you're a fucking coward. Strap me to a fucking missile and launch me at the enemies of our cause.